Bundling. This is going to be the last stop in our tour of fancy pricing schemes. A way to think about bundling before we jump into it, is that regular pricing with just a price is one scheme. Another scheme is the two-part tariff that has both a hookup fee that has a part that's invariant to how much people consume and then a part that's a price. Bundling is essentially just like having a hookup fee and no per unit price. But we'll see that as we go. So the specific question with bundling is, can you generate higher profits by selling products together as a quote bundle? The answer is going to be yes if consumers value products differently. And it's especially relevant with zero marginal cost products, such as information products. Why do I say that? Because you can put lots of things into a bundle without adding anything to the cost of making it, but it's possible that you can generate substantially more revenue doing that than selling them alone. I'll show you what I mean. Before getting into this, let's think about some fairly prominent examples of products that are sold in bundles. Here, a lot of familiar logos here. So first of all, let's start with Comcast, and I'm thinking here about the bundle of channels they sell. Typically, or almost always, we buy cable television in bundles of channels. In fact, there's a big controversy about whether people can or should be able to buy a la carte, but the default is you buy a bundle. Basic service has whatever 20 channels. The fancier services have many more, maybe 100 channels. So that's a bundle. Rhapsody, that's a service from which one can buy music. You pay a flat fee and you get access to, well, essentially all you can eat, all the different songs that they have available on the service for one fee. Netflix is similar. With Netflix, you pay a monthly fee. With the streaming service, you can consume as much as you want through the streaming service, and it's just all bundled together. Some other examples, Comcast's, their triple play is a bundle as well. They bundle cable and internet and phone. That's a bundle. Microsoft Office is typically sold as a bundle. So there's a word processing program and a spreadsheet program and a PowerPoint and so forth, and they typically are sold together as a bundle. Finally, a physical example, although it's a digital product, but it is a physical product as well as the calculator. They tend to bundle together tens, if not hundreds of functions, most of which most people don't use, right? Some people use some, other people use others, but bundling them together seems to be a useful strategy. All right. Well, let's get into the analytics of this to see what's going on and why all these firms are jumping on the bundling bandwagon. To illustrate the idea, let's have a model with two products and two customers. And let's say that I, as the seller, know each customer's reservation price. There's a new word for us, but a reservation price for each product. What the reservation price is, it's the maximum willingness to pay for that product. So we know that consumer number one is willing to pay $4. The max willingness to pay is $4 for product number one, or whatever. Let's also have no marginal costs in this example to keep things simple. That's not too unrealistic given that a lot of the applications of this idea are to information products that do tend to have zero marginal costs. We're going to work with an historical example just to illustrate things. It involves two movie theaters purchasing rights to two movies, one of which turned out to be pretty famous, Gone with the Wind, and the other, no one's ever heard of. It's called Getting Gertie's Garter. And let's say we know the reservation prices. So we know that Theater A is willing to pay $12,000 to rent Gone with the Wind. Theater A is willing to pay $3,000 to rent Getting Gertie's Garter. The other theater, Theater B, is willing to pay $10,000 to get Gone with the Wind and $4,000 to get Getting Gertie's Garter. Even at the time, I think it was clear that one was a bigger box office draw than the other. To see the benefits of bundling, let's begin by having the studios that own the movies selling the movies separately. And so let's ask this question. What's the profit maximizing price for Gone with the Wind? So we can think about a few different prices. And here I'll kind of suppress the thousands, and so 12 will mean 12,000. But let's consider a price of 12,000. So suppose the price of Gone with the Wind were $12,000. Well, in that case, only Theater A would buy. Why? Because Theater A is willing to pay 12, but Theater B is only willing to pay 10. So only one of them would buy, and revenue would be 12. What if the price were 11,000? Well, if the price were 11,000, then only theater A would buy and revenue would be 11. Actually, that's kind of a stupid price because, you could have charged more. You're just giving money away there. What if the price were 10? Well, then both would buy because theater B is willing to pay 10, theater A is willing to pay 12. We can only charge each of them one price, but we'd get revenue of 20. So that is, we'd charge 10 to both and both would buy, revenue would be 20. Let's keep going though. What if the price were 9? Both would still buy, but now revenue is just 18. Best we can do, if we're selling separately, is to charge a price of 10 for Gone with the Wind, and the revenue is 20. Now we can do a similar exercise for Getting Gertie's Garter, GGG, and would find that the best price is 3, because that's the highest price that gets both theater A and theater B to buy, and we get revenue of 6 from Getting Gertie's Garter. So bottom line here, the maximum revenue, if we were to sell these products separately, not bundling, would be 26. Now how about selling them as a bundle? So now let's define a new product called the bundle. And to get the reservation price for the bundle, let's just sum up the reservation prices of each of the elements of the bundle. So what we're saying is, we know that theater A is willing to pay $12,000 for Gone with the Wind and $3,000 for Getting Gertie's Garter. So that means they're willing to pay $12,000 plus $3,000 or $15,000 for the bundle. Theater B is willing to pay $10,000 for Gone with the Wind, $4,000 for Getting Gertie's Garter, so they're willing to pay $14,000 for the bundle. Well, now if we do our little exercise of finding the best price, it's pretty clear the best price for the bundle is 14. Why is that? Well, that's the highest price that gets both of them to buy. So if we were to charge 14, both would buy, and our revenue would be 2 times 14, or 28. The neat thing about that is that 28 is bigger than 26. So selling these products as a bundle actually raised profit. That's kind of the point. Now a question we can ask at this point is, where did the rabbit go into the hat? This kind of seems like magic. At least it did to me the first time I ever saw it. Now, to see where the rabbit went into the hat, let's do this differently. Let's suppose the valuations were different. In other words, let's suppose that one of the theaters actually valued both of the movies more. So theater A now values Gone with the Wind at 12, Getting Gertie's Garter at 4, whereas theater B attaches a lower value to both. Theater B attaches a value of $10,000 to Gone with the Wind and $3,000 to Getting Gertie's Garter. Well, their valuations of the bundle now are 16 and 13. The best bundle price now is just 13, and the maximum bundle revenue, or maximum revenue available with bundling, is just 26. In this case, there was actually no benefit. Ouch. So what happened here? Well, the idea is this. Bundling works when the consumers have negatively correlated valuations. That is, when the consumer who values one product more highly values the other less highly. And as a result, the sum of the valuations across products end up being more similar. This is called variance reduction. Now, it turns out that bundling works with positive correlations too, as long as the correlation is less than 1. But with just 2 consumers, positive correlation ends up being perfect positive correlation. All right, what are the takeaways here? Selling products in bundles can raise profits. And this is especially true when the valuations are negatively correlated. It's a really useful strategy for zero marginal cost products where adding elements to the bundle doesn't raise costs. So I think it's going to be a more important pricing strategy as we go forward and digital products become more and more important.